but there's no presence in A main. You can see Heretics calling a big rotation. Boo holding it down on site. This is the first to fall, no trade, no follow-up. And it is a whitewash from Heretics so far. Eternal Fire trying to make their way through in heaven, and actually nekky from the tower taking down two Heretics players.
And Echo getting played in with a quick double headshot onto. Do you know what? Overall, I think this is a nice start, but it is only a pistol round.
Actually setting up in the underpass perhaps to try and stun a target here. Combined with the ult, doesn't capture anything. Woo in the meantime able to shut off that end of the push. As you can see, Eternal Fire have made their way to site, but they've lost two bodies in the process.
Yeah, it's all about getting that spike down, and it's so late that Team Heretics are ready for the retake.
Just love this re-wrap back into B main side. Izzy does find a way to cut off Koshmaras at the same time, so the deficit reduced by one. Post-plant now established with a brilliant combination of utility. Forcing the peak out wide. Orbital strike taking down two targets. And nekky with his hands tied in this clutch. A long
but Eternal Fire were waiting for some information to play off the back of. And that is completely unlocked, but not if they can't get by RieNs. Already holding things down, getting by the utility and not cleared. Holding things down! Oh my god! That's unbelievable, RieNs! One more next execute.
I mean, look, they have plenty of ways to combine this with utility damage, but remains to be seen what the entry is as Woo passed his way back out of the tower. The rocket won't be slowed by the hinder, but still doesn't collect any damage. It's Benji playing from on site, but Echo closing up the distance, encroaching on position, and that follow-up hinder finds two targets, but no kills. Back to a 3-on-3 with ults favoring Heretics here.
Yeah, trying to play in Kosh. It seems like he might have an avenue through main.
Favian's actually going to step out on the site, supported by the smoke, confident in his ability. A reposition towards this close corner, unaffected by the ultimate. Echo will, but pushed into the middle of the belt. And that's the case of round number 7. A total brawl happening in B main, and Woo, through a smoke or something, does find the head of audaz. Echo playing in spoiler behind late, the arcade push coming in, and main still making its way forwards. nekky with one, but Woo trading it out again. Kosh arriving on the scene, and everything coming up good. Remaining resolute, stands his ground. Favian still creeping closer. This is the double stack. Yeah, not much said there, honestly. I think that was supposed to be the comms, but unfortunately, we'll have to wait a little longer for that one, as shaping up to be the team that we expect, as well as Koshmaras will start the killing on this round. Very weak Eternal Fire side coming in with Sheriffs, Stingers and the like. Izzy trying to bridge the gap, but Woo is equal to it, and then some. Heretics feeling like this one is owed to in play here from Izzy. This has to be the biggest thing to know.
Whether he can find an angle in which to work with. He's on the side. Who knows? Still doesn't get the kill. At least does a bit of damage, but it's through main that most of the site gets unlocked. RieNs is still on this flank, but he gets caught out. 2 versus 3. Heretics going for the ulti, does down the spike.
And Benji's actually going to continue that progression through underpass. So he'll be arriving in arcade. It's whether Woot realizes that nekky has gone for a flank of his own.
Oh, he's just looked away, thought it was clear. Oh, and there's the kill there. So it's Benji now to give us one of the clutches that it's going to be needed here, right? Yeah, both of these players now completely disconnected. Benji now onto the spike and has 2 cages.
Exactly, it's those 2 cages that can threaten this.
Yeah. They found my need to roll back the ears. Seems if we're going back towards A main to try. The operator not hitting though, not connecting, and already locked out of A main. And right now, I'm going to try and go towards that B site.
Yeah, instant rotation called. Izzy still with the convergent paths here to try and use. Yeah, to see the reposition coming in. It's that early flank again from Heretics that will be arriving on the scene very soon, and the delays there from the ult as well. Koshmaras bringing out an overdrive of his own, but not finding any value from it. Still Heretics collapsing upon Eternal Fire and burying them under the ground. Only Echo remaining, and his best...
I had trip on me.
Go.
I see tower. Belong.
One side.
Danger, like, I'm gonna go in. I'm going.
Bro, can we go in canteen smoke? Yeah, come. One.
Guys,
can we push?
They're having CT. They're having CT.
Go back, NS.
Yes.
Come.
Go fight.
Bingo city. Outside.
Bro, right, canteen.
Side and close. He's watching you.
Nice.
Wait, he just tapped.
Nice try. Empty.
Refracts away.
Yeah, at the same time, Team Heretics though are on the other side of the map. Koshmaras trying to dive in all alone, and he is a casualty. One which Eternal Fire will be happy. Where does that come from? And it seems to continue on. Crazy kills between either side. Still the advantage with the defense. And oh, that could completely be dismantled
Audaz.
unless Audaz's bandit continues to find a way to win out. Still finding heads. One more, benjyfishy in main. It's a big one, and identified by Audaz, and there's plenty of bodies here to support. But is Benji going to clutch? Oh! What is that?
A Red Bull clutch to just steal it away.
Yeah, what is this, man? Fair enough, Benji.
Audaz should have had it.
Yeah.
He really should have had it. For as good as the previous kills looked, that is the one.
Players on low shields. Oh, is he missing out? That's uncharacteristic. And what? Sending them packing. Now, only 3. Eternal Fire have to try and retake, and Favian's left all alone. Tries to upset things, but can't do it. This is double digits for Heretics on the cards.
Queued up.
Planted.
And now looking likely as Echo starts to turn away. Still in sand. And what a difference that Red Bull clutch to deny Eternal Fire's bonus could mean. I mean, it wasn't even the gun rounds. This now transpiring against them as Heretics continue to heat up.
Yeah. You think towards last year, sure they qualified to international events, but
Izzy's up out again. This has to be the difference maker.
Don't miss me too much.
he's only done damage, and now there's plenty of bodies on the line to deny anything, at least a tradability. And Izzy, it's been flushed straight out. Nekky, though, playing on the edge, and at the end of the day, Heretics slowing their scale.
They've got Izzy off of the deep line. They've forced him all the way back. The cost of his own utility belt, but as you say, there are ults to play around here with for Heretics, and with Root already inserted into tower, that showstopper is an issue. Both satchels primed and ready to go.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, there's been an evacuation order for Eternal Fire.
Fully giving it up, not wanting to marshal the situation any further. This is where Heretics take it up a notch. Move into a slightly more aggressive post-plant, or so you'd think. Stepping off the site to allow Eternal Fire back in with this Rolling Thunder. That's exactly what was required. So much utility expended, and only now do the kills start to fall in place. Audaz with the first, but this main control sitting on the shoulders of Benji right now. Lying on him, the reputation rests there. Wall goes up, Eternal Fire a couple back, and now it's only RieNs left in the tower. For all that he's done so far from Eternal Fire, by the way, 3 players sat in spawn, waiting for the first sign of contact to make a rotation.
I mean, it's what the last round, right? Playing for the retake, but Nekky just swung wide. He's been caught. At least there's a trade on towards Woot, but overall, that could be big utility loss and a big ultimate as well.
Hat off the head of Benji. Information on where these players are. Audaz trying to push up. He's caught in the corner now.
Yeah, no escape, and Koshmaras confirms it. Heretics looking to get to 12. Unless Izzy has something to say for it. But with an operator retake, you're expecting
Out on this map against Specific, buy into the gun specifically. Boy. Echo, once again, the one responsible for the B site. Looking at it here, one more cage left to just try and wedge the gap between him and the ensuing Heretics players. Kosh again creating that space, traded off. Exactly what is required for them to move into a post-plant 3-on-3 with the gun advantage.
Yeah, post-plant in now. Look at the retake. Izzy's gone searching.
Not gonna find anything for his efforts just yet. Boo playing disciplined, one away from the orbital strike. If he can find a kill here, this could be key. Izzy spotted down in the sewers, and Benji, while it's rough around the edges, the result is there in the end. The story so far of Heretics Stage, it's taken a while for them to get going, but in the playoffs, it's going to be the perfect start possible against Eternal Fire. Audaz has nowhere to go, and so many shots that he needs to hit. Benji
Viewing Eternal Fire's chances already, Team Heretics looking to prioritise getting this Phoenix on the orbs, and Woot looking to try and get on the face! Oh. That's a lovely double to get things started. They've gambled towards the A side of the map, tried to get there early and unfortunately have costed them probably this round when you consider how many bodies Heretics still have alive.
I think it's been nice to see Woot, especially on the duelist, still in this lineup, playing into the Phoenix, something that we've seen a little bit more of with the absence of Yoru.
Yeah,
and he's got the molly here as well into the post plant, looking at Heretics fighting on site here against Eternal Fire coming back from CT.
Yeah, you're looking at who's pairing up alongside each other, who's playing with each other. RieNs probably the only island, but he can combine with either of the packs, and that's exactly what's going to happen
here. Towards A begins here with Koshmaras teed up through utility to take full control, and Woot sparing no expense, no time to get that ultimate involved. Full respect shown on the Eternal Fire side, not looking to challenge, but through the horn, actually a couple of pickups go their way. Favian at the double. Benji trying to play spoiler to it, follow it up, but nothing comes from it in the end. And so, back to basics, back to just picking orbs up off the ground again.
Right there.
Heretics still interested with this one.
Yeah, I mean, they've not given themselves any other space on the map to build off. Instead, they actually just want to continue playing this forwards as much as possible.
Concealment.
Who considering picking up the Guardian, timing on the smoke is horrendous, walking out full dive on the site itself as they want to meet Eternal Fire. And Heretics equal here in the middle with Izzy still playing in behind this, but diligently cleared in the end by Boot. The A main overhaul from Heretics. And Woot well on his way to a second Phoenix ult here when the plant comes through.
I mean, this is going to be an issue if Eternal Fire cannot combat that A main play. Echo! Straight back in! Where does this come from? A 2-on-2, which you thought was never going to be doable!
Making the difference in those kinds of moments. Brilliant entry to the round from Heretics, and I guess the flip side of that conversation is they have to be closing out rounds like this if they fancy themselves.
Running back is going to stop any of this Cypher utility having any advantage. As Eternal Fire, though, backflip the site, using the blaze wall against Heretics. That was their own, and Eternal Fire the ones filling the kill feed. Koshmaras, though, from and through the back of site, using his own ultimate.
With the thoughts of Weber and Neil in their mind, Heretics go back to this A main play. It's Kosh that gets caught, but the trade is there as always.
Yeah, both Neons off the board.
Yeah, head to the other extremity.
But look at the exec ultimates that Team Heretics have.
It's the Nightfall. And they're just queued up, waiting in A main again. Very straightforward play. Looking to see if Eternal Fire are willing to give out a peek. It's just the one flash from Favian for now. That leaves nekky isolated backside. Second comes in and he's going to profit from it, but Heretics rally back with a couple of their own. The advantage now towards the attack side, and audaz knowing he has to wait for this rotation.
He can retake with the Cosmic Divide, though the spam almost good, but can get a kill. Heretics keep the player advantage.
And they keep the players on site. With that ultimate in mind, from the Astra on the opposite side, they know that the only way to win this is keeping boots on the ground. Woot cornered in the pit, Benji not too far off it from Secret as well. Boo completes the 3 as this wide line perimeter cast around the site as the smokes go in, and there is the ult that we were expecting. Cosmic Divide placed from the players coming out of R. audaz trying to tap on towards the spike early on, and while Echo can find one, he needs another hero moment now. 2 targets either side of him. Back to the wall, can't get the half. Boo closing up the distance. He'll be dropped, but the time ultimately evades Echo in the end. The Eternal Fire will fall at the final hurdle. The Heretics given space to roam here. Izzy again wanting to interrupt with the op, but it's the ult of Woot that has cleared them all out, smoked the players from Eternal Fire in this situation. The spike isn't heading B-wards. It's going back onto A where the strong side lies.
Yeah, Eternal Fire.
No, it isn't. They've cancelled it again.
Oh, this indecisiveness could cost them because now Izzy on the line deep. And this
He's left.
The Nightfall, enough to pull players across. You've got to respect it from Heretics. A bit of a fanatic round, you could say.
But it is gorgeous mid-rounding all the same from Boo, especially when you consider the fact that they've been able to set up a post plant here as well, with Koshmaras playing deep off of the divide.
RieNs, though, is playing so deep towards the other side, and he's caught out.
Still playing for the attention as much as possible. The judge, a couple shots fired off, re-peeks in, still blinded. Favian collecting onto that one. Bit of damage on the Eternal Fire side, but Heretics down to their last 3 members, playing out of the elbow. Wu here picking up the first of those kills, and doubling up for it, in fact. Wu can't get any more done, though. And that's where Boo is
Moving
tested.
forward, our fine bodies heading towards his crosshair. He could easily start to farm up some kills, and supported by his teammates, will end up being easy in the end. And this should be... Whoa! That's insane!
Oh, it must have been Echo and Fabian's rank-up game, because I don't know how Benji's taken 2 with a right click there. Still a 2-on-2 situation. It's this judge holding the cross.
But it's the judge to at least shot. I've seen Heretics win time and time again. Doesn't happen this time, as Koshmaras dives straight into the body of Favian. Ooh.
Yeah, scorched on the way back out, though. And actually, they're going to re-clear this through Favian.
Yeah, trying to use the run it back, clear advantage, but already Wu denies that. Can't quite find Izzy, although he's taking a boatload of
16
damage.
seconds and yet to hit the site.
Well, we're going to have to hit it with all the force that they have left. A simple kill onto the spike plan would probably be enough, but you're not going to get that chance with Echo taken out and audaz having to swing out from lane. The rest of the body's now here for Eternal Fire on this retake, but they're swinging out of smokes. And that's where Team Heretics should just hold, but they don't. They let it go, and it has to be up to Boo. A clutch to be attempted, and he gets it.
This is get here in time.
Yeah, that side, oh sorry, the map gets smaller and smaller. Heretics need to get the spike plant down. They need to be pretty efficient here, but instead it's the pistols that end up being efficient. Oh my God, Eternal Fire showing us exactly what they're capable of. As Benji is able to keep himself alive. Both players caught by the nightfall, and yep, there it is. Favian's re-clear, and that spike now caught. Benji showed us a 1 versus 3 on Fracture. This would be it. Keeping the noise close. This really does.
Ooh.
It's successful, and he's got the spike plant back.
No tools to cross back here, though. Actually, Eternal Fire are just going to give him the time of day to get this spike in.
His pocket. Benji has an idea. The reposition good, but not looking in the right spot towards main. And can't quite flick in time.
Playing pretty deep with the support of Boo. It's a shorty, his weapon of choice. That might be a problem.
Could be if the players walk into it, but that's a big F, and when they do, it's Echo to clear through the cage, so advantage Eternal Fire.
Heretics looking pretty heavy-handed on this retake. We know that they like to flank heavy with their comp. That's if Eternal Fire don't detect it early on, and they have 3 players here in long.
Yeah, but well, I was going to say nobody dedicated to deleting it, deleting the haunt. They do, and delete the players as well. So in the end, this pistol round looking pretty decent overall. Eternal Fire for the 3rd out of 4 potential wins. Unless Team Heretics show us something special. It's Boo to clutch up in a 1v1. He was successful last time. Tries to see if he can bait out a swing, goes for the half instead, gets it, double tap, and
on the A line early with this judge, but the rotation hasn't quite matched it just yet, and that's where they could very soon be overwhelmed on the B site.
Yeah, but it's 2 of your best anchors if you're Heretics. You look at benjyfishy and the amount of times he's shown us what he can do, but Boo has to swing out of heaven, and that might be a position which could be vulnerable. It's not, and Boo's now played in Benji, looking to try and play from the balls, which there at least to get a couple more. And in a 2 versus 3, Eternal Fire need to get that spike down, but it's instead as he's...
Any targets walking into him here up close? I mean, this is so unexpected. He even hears the spike fall.
Yeah, should expect this. And with no gun out, nekky, for me,
no,
they've dedicated the Phoenix to get this main position.
At the very least, Eternal Fire want to make some noise, create some pressure towards B, because they understand if Kosh is pushed that far up, it's got to be the weaker side, and they would be correct in thinking that. But then again, it's Koshmaras with the judge, and he has found his 2nd of this round already.
I know exactly.
Echo blindly spraying back through the neon wall, and does pick him up, so it's a numbers disadvantage, but Eternal Fire have won from these positions before.
And they have all the information they could possibly need, but you need to try and win against 4 bodies all together for Heretics.
That's where the reposition is key. Gravwell laid down at the feet of Heretics on their entry back in from CT. Echo close to the Phoenix wall, looking to disrespect it, but as audaz drops, the chances surely fade. Heretics still yet to clear out Echo here, and as he slips in behind them. Nowadays, they've mainly been on Duelist.
And we've seen them use them before, especially on Fracture, for instance. That's where my head goes after saying that. So we see audaz give his best attempt at a fake towards this B side. And look at this, I love this from Heretics, taking the main space.
They have one of the arms of the push wrestled, and Wu at the very least is going to be able to make sure that Boo's death wasn't in vain. He's fighting up close to his own wall here, can't connect the transfer. Favian the one to pick it up. With the ult now online, he's sparing no expense, no time to invest it with a rifle in hands, because he knows as soon as it expires, he's going to have his health back to full.
Yeah, that he does. And while you look towards this coming back in, Heretics pretty split up. You're looking at Koshmaras.
Oh, big 1v1 on the flank, and Benji loses out to audaz's bandit this time around. Into a 2-on-2. Here is the ult from Koshmaras to try and equalize things. Plant in the back of sight, and that means it's an issue for Izzy to try and clear out. They didn't even expect him to be there. Why would he? So far away from it. Kosh full sticking. Time of the pressure into an A hit.
And you can see Benji reacting as well in terms of how he takes this site hold. And the way the traps are set up, it's to hold back site. They don't want anybody coming in towards this part. And that's where they're going to set up the retake from. But Eternal Fire want to deny that. And they're going to get close to the body because Favian looking to take it one step further. But Boo's able to hold it down. And the rest of the army here for Heretics to try and help out. Echo so low. Nekky getting another, but they need that spike back. Finally they get it.
The brink. Initiator of the year in this league, year on year. And with the situation here, marshaled excellently, playing together as a group for the real luxury.
Yeah, it is. The fact that you've opted for that in the current situation, not great.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Round by round, as Benji said, kill by kill. Heretics take a step closer, but you can feel at any moment Eternal Fire could pull their own trigger and really cost Heretics the upper bracket life. Whoop! Denying Echo his chance to get in towards B.
Yeah, I mean, this is an area Heretics have left completely vacant. It does give an opportunity for Eternal Fire to mid-round, but not if Wu can find this kill, but he doesn't.
I mean, it's only cost him his ultimate, which is not a bad cost indeed, but did find out it was only the Astra. So the rest of the bodies stay magnetized to this A site. And with Nekky being seen, the rest of the players put on high alert. They know that they need to try and deny any spike plan, especially with time getting so low. And Benji already getting rid of audaz towards the other side of the map. Now, the cavalry looking to arrive, but they might not even be needed at this point. Heretics want to end this here and now. With time so low, Nekky having no chance. He wants to save that rifle, which will be a premium in that next round.
Gonna have to try and fight his way out for it.
And the spike at its back. Already Benji though identifying that audaz is here.
So that's at least 2 players.
And you heard that the Fade Dog was coming through lane, so with that ultimate being used, this should now be an identifier. A cosmetic stun allows Koshmaras to die here, and Benji now having to hold things down against the eco, but it's going Eternal Fire's way. They can see the finish line in sight right now, right here. Unless Boo could show us something magnificent. Players set up, looking to take the next fight, wanting to be the one to finish out the map here and now. And they're confirmed right, but can RieNs stand the test?
He's got players to support him, and it's only Echo through for the time being. Favian movement errors, he piles on over the top, and you go equal in that initial duel taken between the two sides, and Eternal Fire eventually collapsing on backside, making A their own. Heretics forced into an unlikely retake.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Benji still so far away as well, and taking his time to get back in buys Eternal Fire the perfect post plan.
Paranoia still up for Boo, but struggles to isolate Izzy in that endeavor. Already other side of the silent drop, so only they can get aggressive at the barrier drop. And that's what they'll try and do through Koshmaras, but
so now you look towards B as they look to get that execute in.
Able to stand the test at the first of those duels. So eventually, he does fall. Wall goes up, stalls out the rest. Izzy in a 1v1 towards Hobbit, but RieNs will drop there. And Boo trying to step up to the plate is no better. Benji forced to face the music 1v4, and right now, Eternal Fire all playing to the same last time before we saw them win a round. Gonna be hoping it isn't the same here as we head into the full buy, and Boo already...
You can see Favian already looking to get beyond the wall, and as it triggers, that Nightfall has found Benji. The rest of Team Heretics are ready to support.
Nice prowler in from RieNs on stairs, identifying the second arm of that push heading it through. Heretics able to batten down the hatches, and there you have it. Benji surviving long enough to marshal the situation and call for support. That first wave arrives, leaving only Echo behind here with the off in hand. Can't correct.
So it's nice to see Heretics now start to wake up towards this early start. We spoke about this before, right? Heretics and their slow starts
means so much. But to make it replicable is something entirely different this time. Support arrives to try and take Boo out of the equation, but actually, he's just doubled up. Koshmaras there with the op. So just peeking in dry, Eternal Fire grounded in this situation.
There's one player towards every lane for Eternal Fire. They want to try and trigger the wall, which Echo has done, but look at audaz.
This is such a dangerous ultimate. Heretics on high alert. Benji the only player towards A as it stands. Bit of a rotation made through B by the two on the Heretics side. Wu calling in the showstopper, but the door closes in his face, and so does the opportunity. Necky's found the player on C site. That was Boo. He falls. Now there's a flank in action as well, and actually, Nekky wants to call this back, but he doesn't realize that Wu has pushed up off the back of it. Kosh kills the player that was on C, that's Favian. And Necky's actually found Wu as well, so now Benji is back into enemy territory.
Yeah, he's really behind enemy lines.
Eye of the storm, Benji is caught, and with Echo investing the ult as well, the picture is finally made clearer. The fog is gone, and Eternal Fire are into B with a 3v2.
Yeah, and there's utility to hold off any retakes, any quick takes with the paranoia.
Fade Eye comes in, Koshmaras trying to instigate something here with the ult nice and early. Finds the first on the drop, that's 3 down, 2 more left to find. Kosh still going, can't find a way to play. RieNs back in, but when he arrives on the scene, it usually means results for Heretics. A 1 versus 1 against audaz. No utility for either really to play around. audaz now cornered. RieNs towering over him from this position. Layering of the op on the previous round from Heretics, those bright ideas of their own not amounting to much as RieNs finds a way to pick up Favian, and Koshmaras up close with the judge on A means that they have complete control of both extremities right now.
Yeah, but Nekky looking to try and find RieNs. His Woot on the other side gets one onto audaz. Overall, this looks like a done round, says all the bodies have fallen.
Cut off multiple of these lanes towards different sites.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the fact that there is such a RieNs, and overall, it settles with a bit of a cold war, but it's Izzy instead to grab...
to invest.
Echo trying to escape, but as the reclear comes through, he really needs to stand the test, and does so successfully. That should be the go button, right? Everyone to see, but instead, there's no panic.
Deal unless
30 seconds
the
left.
two best clutches on Heretics have anything to say, and RieNs already opens his mouth with one.
Yeah, it certainly does, but Boo won't even get a chance to converse with this round. A 1 versus 4 RieNs, yeah, I think you're better
What is the best on the global stages, you know?
But who's the one to come out on top? Because last time it was Eternal Fire, and well, with the ultimates put in, you'd expect it to be them this time round, but it certainly seems to be Heretics. With the spike on his back, Echo turned away.
Gonna outnumber him on A.
Yeah.
So this is the route through to Benji.
Yeah, but steps should be here. Benji with the knife out gets caught to be used to deny any lines of sight. But that Nightfall's dodged, and Echo now playing up close and personal. The Prowler catching him, and well, fortunately enough for Heretics.
Maybe from Echo early to try and create some of that space, put a wedge between himself and the rest of the defenses. Benji's off is quickly put under the microscope, and this C site can't hold for long.
Yeah, already had to use all his utility, and that's going to allow Izzy to hit the site. And while the rest of the players still not quite here, he's going to have to pop the ultimate.
Yeah, premature steel garden from Benji in the end, but he's able to fend off the ensuing Eternal Fire players. up in smoke in the end as the site is sent smoldering. Still a 2 versus 3, and with a couple of tags on those CT players, Eternal Fire given room to plant.
Yeah, Boo's so late, and he has to re-clear a bit of that waterfall space. And you can see himself taking the time.
Eternal Fire castled up close. Nekky playing from the corner in this situation here. Trying to stay aggressive. Woot is low. He's the easy target. It's benjy in behind on less than favorable HP of his own. Could be a serious issue if this spray down were to connect. Blind comes in, timing perfect. And with the showstopper online, audaz will fall after the fact.
This is where you've got to rely on your experience in these moments, and where Eternal Fire might get caught off guard, but audaz with the TP distracts the side players, and Izzy with a quick double.
Pacey play from Eternal Fire, straight out the strat book, and Heretics caught sleeping at the wheel again. Little utility left to invest. RieNs waiting on that eye, another 40 seconds. The Prowlers as well, and Favian already finishing off benjy. Heretics are going to have to hope they can find 5 now, because Eternal...
I'm thinking about Echo alone on A as he tries to fight forward, and Koshmaras catches him. So with that, you've got to be looking at what happens now. Does benjy try to re-clear Waterfall?
Yeah.
Does everyone try to come out of it? And it seems like they might all be caught. A good nade, not able to find the kills, but eventually nekky and Favian come in. It's going to have to be a brawl to the death with only one player left. It's benjy.
Boo was on a Guardian there, just couldn't get enough shots out in time. Favian down to 2.
Oh, audaz?
audaz wants to play this front-footed.
I mean, quality player, sure, but is he giving it a chance away? I mean, Favian looking to play with the rocket and delay benjy getting out. It has worked, but that fuse only has a certain amount of time.
And the time will quickly run out. benjy in this 1 versus 2 now.
Going for the corner.
And where the Heretics needs to show what they can give us if they want to keep that route in the upper bracket towards Masters. And now, I know there are a few trivia enjoyers at home, so let's see how well they know their Heretics history.
Heretics want to put on this C site, and remember, Eternal Fire have won almost all the pistols bar 1. That just shows you how proficient they can be. As Heretics onto the site have to be wary of Eternal Fire going to flood back in. It's a bloodbath!
Just talking about this at length. Not showing up when they needed to in groups. Now with momentum at their backs, that initial pressure created on C through Koshmaras. He's done a brilliant job so far, but it will fall to the rest of the pack. Now trying to claw their way towards this A-site take. Brilliant blind from Boo, but no follow-up there to start off. Nekky laying down the law again. 1 bullet left in the chamber. And as he just plays as a distraction, actually, the follow-up not quite what was...
one of the future teams of our region, and they're putting another team from the past to the sword. I mean, sight open, Heretics with a chance to keep themselves alive.
We're trying to stoke those embers as much as possible. This showstopper would love a kill. It's... Oh, is that damage onto audaz? No, narrowly misses.
Yeah, that's a big point to try and come up. A little bit of damage has it. That's quite Heretics. That rocket was taken off, just like Eternal Fire looked to take off in this playoffs. And a 3-on-3. They tried to hold down, but benjy's doing it all by himself. RieNs finally helping out, but audaz in a clutch. Surely not. Not like this.
The Angel, we look once more. Root revealed.
There's Boo, no, and audaz so quick on the mark, as well as Izzy. Oh, Heretics straight back in from Woot. Favian, a couple of his own, and